Okay, everybody. We just kind of wrapped up the calendar, and we're looking at the tribulation period now, kind of beginning because we kind of realized it's 3.5 years, it's 360-day years, and what does that mean? And so we're going to kind of look at that a little bit closer here, and we're going to be looking at it from sort of this sort of area over here all the way, kind of encompassing all of this jazz. That's kind of the story we're going to be sticking to. We're going to move away from the sign of comfort and that's the kickoff date that we're starting at, but we're going to ignore this one. So this is sort of like the kickoff. We kind of already figured this calendar. This is just kind of reiterating the 1260 over here and the 3.5 years here. That's all that's saying here. So anyways, that's why we're going to start here. And what do we do with that count is kind of pivotal. Bring that down. So I'm just going to talk about things just kind of generally before we get into all the noise of it. What are the broad strokes? So what this sign is alluding to is literally what I meant is what this sign is literally alluding to is to the beginning of the count forward. Okay, so we gotta know this is the start point, and that's where we're getting all these passages here. These passages right here in relationship to that start point. Okay, so 3.5 years, right? The 1260s, really kind of useless to us at this juncture for a second. You'll see why. It'll come back in a second here, but let's look at 3.5 here, and this will start to make sense. October 8th, 3.5. So let's just do 3. Let's just count 3. 2019. 2018. 2019, 2020, and so that's 1, 2, 3. But here we got to count half a year, and here's where that count is. 180 days will take us to April 4th, and that happens to be Nisan 16, which is first fruits, and we know this because of this date here. So the vernal equinox is on 2021, happens to be on March 20th. Well, 16 days later, that's how you get that. So that's pretty easy. Okay, so looking at this calendar, we've kind of tackled this. So we count this second year, third year, and we've kind of gotten up to here. What is this? This is the Great Tribulation. This is the beginning of it. This is what I submit is, well, if it's first fruits, and this is all what I'm saying biblically, this is where it would happen, the resurrection of his people, because first fruit is when Jesus gets resurrected, and first fruits also when Israel gets saved from from Egypt back in the day. And so in Revelation, Mystery Babylon is also Sodom and spiritual Egypt, so it can't be ignored. Suffice to say, let's carry on, because I want to kind of tackle all these sort of tabs that are left here, because I think it's really important to know where we are in time. And I'm just gonna switch the tabs for fun colors. Let's get a little separation here because I think it's gonna get hot. This is sort of where we're at today. We are at this is 2020, and it's the 4th month, April 15th. That's where we are here today in the timeline. So what has come before is what we're going to look at now, and to see if we start lining up, and hopefully that starts setting us up for what we're about to face. And we'll kind of look at this a little closely. So what does our first tab here we're looking at happened off the first count? That, well, if I'm right, these events have already occurred. In fact, I'm going to say at this point here, we are at the economic collapse. That's the scales. And we are at pestilence. I get the scales wrong here. Terrible scales. Too funny. I actually draw for a living. Too funny. Anyways, we got the scales and we got the vid, you know, which is really the bitter, which is wormwood. That's why the horseman is black there and represents pestilence. Wormwood is the radiation there that we're all being exposed to by 5G. The side effects are all these DNA, results, genetic mutations, and that's why the COVID is checking for DNA when actually COVID is known to be actually RNA. So now your government's testing you, getting your DNA, and then they want to vaccinate you with the mark. But anyways, that's coming up soon. I'll tell you what that's really gonna hit us. That's about 6 angel here. I think that's when it's happening. It's when the Antichrist comes. And we'll take a look at these chapters here. But for now, let's look at 8. Let's start here at the beginning here. And let's see if we can get through this. So 8-7 here, the first angel. He tells us there's hellfire and the trees are burnt. So let's look at this. The first angels, we're right here. The first angel sounded and followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they was cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burnt, and all green grass was burnt up. So we didn't see hail coming down mingled with blood. We didn't see this. This is it's a lot more allegorical about this horrible, alluding to this horrible coming. But nonetheless, what is this? A third part of the trees, this we gotta know is like the fifth. It's in the middle of it. If we saw hail and fire coming from the heavens, and everyone would be believers. Okay, that's not what God's not going to do any miracles now. That's not going to be like that at the end. It's going to be like surprise at the end, big miracles at the absolute end. But for now, it still has to be shrouded in mystery, and we're going to have to deduce it with our God-given intelligence. So, having said that, we're looking here. Oh, it's very exciting stuff, because this is the most exciting video of all of them. After 5, it just becomes interesting to me. There's going to be just, this is the video, folks. The one you really want to know, because where we are in timeline and what I'm about to do is predict forward what the heck we could possibly be facing. what I really truly believe is being told to us. But anyways, so where are all these trees, being burnt up? Oh well, did we forget the wildfires that raged across with global scale fires? Global scale fires. Frightening. Okay, well, what's Rev 8 say? Because that's the next one. Rev 8 says, and the second angel sounded as if a great mountain of burning fire was cast into the sea, and the third part became blood. Okay. Well, let's do ourselves a favor. Let's pull up Revelation here. Let's see, Revelation. We're gonna go to Rev 8. That's right. And as we see here, the second angel sounded as if it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and a third part of the sea became blood. That's death. And a third part of the creatures which were in the sea had life, died, and a third part of the ships were destroyed. Okay, so what is that sign? And in my timeline, it shows up here, and we're gonna see tons of dead fish washing ashore in the Florida beaches. This is NPR reporting this, and it's in August 31st, 2018. So, we're looking at the results of what is this? What is this? What am I presupposing all of this is? Because the next one I'm going to tell you is that there was a third sign here in February 6th. We're going to look at this and I'll explain to you why. Hold on a second. And what does Rev 8, 8:10, and this is, I think, very, very pivotal moment here, because I think we're supposed to be able to feel this thought here. Okay. And a third part of and a third angel sounded, and there fell a great. Let's actually look at it in Scripture. And a third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from the heaven, burning as if it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters. I'm gonna suggest that this is the people. And the name of that star is called Wormwood. Wormwood means Chernobyl. Right? It's just like the star is called Chernobyl. Well, what does Chernobyl mean? If we said that instead of Wormwood, we'd be like, okay, Chernobyl. We kind of have a story about Chernobyl. Chernobyl has a history of radiation. Okay. Well, a third part of the waters. People are waters. Okay. We're gonna see later on that Jesus says, the people are waters. We'll see that in a second here. A third part of the water became wormwood, became Chernobyl. What if we say Chernobyl is radiation? Okay? And men died of this. Alright, many men died of waters because they were made bitter. Well, if you get cancer, you get very base. You're low alkalinity, and so they gotta raise your pH level so that you're more balanced. So bitter is base. So let's do a little search.